So, sorry about that. We had a very long and vigorous discussion, very respectful of everyone's view in our caucus. It was good. And I hope everyone had a nice holiday. And because we love you so much, we kept you here, so you might have to go home in the snowstorm. No, that's a joke. Terrible joke. Okay. I want to thank Senators Murray and Murphy and Smith for joining us. As 2024 kicks off, three things are true. First, a lot of work to do. We started with funding the government and working towards a national security supplemental. Second, only one way we'll get any of this done, bipartisan. Third, we're off to a good start. This weekend, I announced, along with congressional leadership and President Biden, a top-line agreement to keep the government funded and avoid a shutdown. Senator Murray, who you'll hear from shortly, and all the other appropriators will work doggedly to draft the appropriations. We have only 10 days until the first deadline. And the good news is I think all four appropriators, the four corners, Senator Murray, Senator Collins, Representative Granger, Representative DeLauro, want to get this done as fast as possible. Our goal is to roll up our sleeves and try to get this done, period. From the beginning, we had one goal in mind as Democrats. Keep the non-defense level at $772.7 billion. That's the exact number that we agreed to in June last year when we avoided default. That was our North Star. We have not cut one nickel from that, despite the hard right's desire to bully us and bully their own caucus into cutting the number way back, which would never have gotten a majority support in the House, let alone the Senate. We protected our vital priorities like housing programs, veterans benefits, health care, nutrition programs, small business support, and clean energy investments. We're very proud of that. Democrats said no to the draconian cuts. Democrats said no to rescissions that would hurt housing assistance for millions of Americans secured by Democrats and Biden. We said no to any changes that would alter the climate change benefits that we put into the IRA. We fought to keep the defense number identical to the NDAA. We did. And the agreement kept many of our priorities. Protected our accomplishments from the last Congress, and most importantly, will hopefully is the first step in avoiding a lengthy, costly government shutdown. There's much more to do. Agreeing to a top-line number is important, but so is the next step in Patty Murray's capable hands, and that is translating the number into 12 appropriations bills that can pass the Senate, pass the House, and reach the President's desk. But if House Republicans bend to the whims of the hard right and corrode the appropriations process with poison pills and extremist proposals, then they will be responsible for moving us closer to a shutdown.
Good afternoon, friends. This is big news from our federal government. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen has just made a major announcement regarding the U.S. economy. There's also new information on the next batch of monthly payments for all Social Security recipients. My dear friends, please make sure that you watch until the end of this video. Also, every Friday, I will be announcing winners for the Walmart gift card giveaway. If you would like to enter these weekly giveaway, friends, all you have to do is click and like several of my videos and then comment below the keyword of each video that you watch. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen has just declared that the U.S. economy had achieved a long-sought soft landing. This is a historically unusual event in which high inflation is tamed without significantly damaging the labor market. During an interview with CNN News, Janet Yellen said, "What we are seeing now, I think, we can describe as a soft landing, and my hope is that it will continue." Government figures out earlier on Friday showed job gains and wage increases in December had both exceeded expectations, with payrolls climbing 216,000. The report, which suggested continued upside risk for inflation, prompted investors to trim bets that the Federal Reserve would begin cutting rates in March. Secretary Yellen zeroed in on the latest wage data, which showed average hourly earnings rose 4.1% in the year through December. Given consumer inflation for the year is projected by economists to come in at 3.2%, which would mean wages exceeded price growth in 2023. She also noted that wage increases are running over price increases now. American workers are getting ahead, and the progress for the middle-income families is very noticeable. For 2 years, the Treasury chief consistently rejected the gloomiest predictions for the U.S. economy, even as the central bank pursued an aggressive rate hiking campaign through much of 2022 and 2023. While never ruling out a recession, she repeatedly said she saw a path to a so-called soft landing. Also, friends, there are several Social Security changes that have recently taken effect that you might not know about. This year, Social Security benefits will receive a 3.2% cost of living adjustment. This means an extra $59 per month this year for the average retired worker. The first group of retirees will receive their January Social Security payments worth up to $4,873 for top earners who retire at age 70 in just 4 days. Representatives of Johnson and Chuck Schumer have dedicated weeks to negotiating and settling on this crucial number. So once an agreement is in place, Congress must decide between passing funding bills to keep our government operational until September or opting for a temporary solution, which is called a continuing resolution, which will extend funding to prevent a shutdown. So this is where complications arise. The two parties must come to an understanding on which federal programs will receive funding and which programs will not. If these demands are not met, they argue that the government should be shut down, and additional funding should not be approved until the White House complies with their request. Lawmakers have a tight timeline when they return next week, with only 10 days to avert a partial government shutdown. The initial deadline is January 19th, affecting military construction, the FDA, agriculture, Veterans Affairs, housing and urban development programs. The funding for the remainder of the government will expire on February 2nd, including critical agencies like the Pentagon, Labor Department, Health and Human Services, and the Homeland Security Department. The ongoing negotiations between Speaker Johnson and Senator Chuck Schumer revolve around whether to adhere to spending levels, which were outlined in the bipartisan law that raised the national debt limit last June. This agreement proposed funding levels of $1.59 trillion, with $886 billion allocated for defense. However, it faced opposition from conservative hardliners in the House, who demanded more substantial cuts. Johnson and Schumer are currently discussing spending cuts as part of their agreement, as indicated by sources in Congress. House Republicans are specifically targeting IRS cuts and seeking to reclaim unspent crisis aid funds as part of their proposed reductions. Well, my beautiful and great friends, that is the end of my daily stimulus update video for today. My dear friends, thank you so much for being part of this community. This coming Friday, I will be announcing several winners for the Walmart gift card giveaway. If you would like to enter these weekly giveaways, friends, simply click and like several of my videos and then comment below the keyword of each video that you watch. The more videos that you comment on, friends, the greater your chances of winning these giveaways. Thank you so much, dear friends, and have a wonderful and very blessed week.